Hi, I'm Rebecca Rosen, a spiritual medium and best-selling author. For almost 25 years, I've been serving as a messenger for spirit and helping people strengthen their own intuition. Join me as we continue to explore, heal, and ascend through episodes centered around your questions, channelings from spirit, and powerful conversations with my friends and colleagues. So I am really excited to welcome back to the podcast one of my favorite human beings or spirit beings, everything. You are my energy healer. You are my mentor, my guide, my teacher, and definitely a soul sister. This is Jakki Leonardini. Thank you for being back.
Oh gosh, I was so excited. Sorry I interrupt you. I was so excited to just to have this conversation with you because, we've really been on this journey, this evolutionary path of, toward enlightenment together for a while now, and it's been an honor and a privilege, I would say, and I've learned so much from working with you. It's like, the
Oh,
wisdom
likewise.
through is fun.
Yeah, I think we complement each other well, and we have never physically met. But as we know, we don't need to physically
Mm-mm.
connect. We're connecting in the quantum field, and I'm just so grateful. So, truly, without the work that we do together, I would not be able to sustain the energy that I channel through me to serve my audience. And so, it goes back to self care. We all have different ways we self care. And for me, my weekly energy healings they're not negotiable. They're not a luxury. They're a necessity. And I thank you for showing up and being that for me.
Oh gosh, well, I love that you're sharing this with other people because, the practice of energy medicine is when we say, people will say to me, well, what's energy medicine? Well, it's, we are energy beings. And so when we are calling in frequencies or wavelengths of energy that are aligned with love, that is the medicine. That it comes in and it shows us where we are holding on to wounds, right? Holding on to dis-ease within us so that we can clear it away, forgive it, disagree with it. I'm holding on to a limiting belief that's telling me that, I'm not enough, or I'm holding on to a limiting belief that, keeps repeating a pattern of being where I feel left out because I feel less than. And
Right.
when we commune with these divine frequencies, wavelengths of energy that are not only within us, but all around us, it gives us the opportunity to awaken to where we're consciously or unconsciously holding on to these ideas about ourselves, these beliefs that are holding us back, that are making us tired, making us creating sickness, creating dis-ease within our physical body, in our mental body, and our emotions are going to tell us what's going on, and then it's materializing in our relational experiences. And if you do a weekly, daily practice, however, whatever frequency feels or resonates best with you, it's like taking a shower. It's like calling in this energy to rinse away any disease, any muckiness, so that you can emerge in your truth, love, and begin to see everything now through a clear lens, a
Yes.
lens that is more true to you. And, I always say to people, you take a shower every day or you go to the gym, you do all these things, but the core of who you are, the energy needs to be clean as well and
Yeah.
rinsed and nurtured. And this practice is a way of doing that.
Yeah, it's good spiritual hygiene. That's
Yes.
what this is, right? So today, the last time we talked about co-creation and manifesting, and today I wanted to talk about energy management, which is everything you're talking about, healing, clearing, and protecting our
Mhm.
energy.
Mhm.
Before we dive into that, I would love your take on just like an energy update, basically, energetically speaking, what's going on the planet? Because there is a lot and a lot coming up for a lot of people I know.
We're in a major position of reconciliation. It's time for us to look at where we're holding on to a duality within us and where we're asking of the universe, other beings, something that we're not willing to give. So, I recently had an experience where a group of people were really invaded a space of mine demanding information. It's a long story that's not necessary, but they came in a violent way asking and demanding for peace, but they weren't peaceful.
Wow. Yeah.
How can you ask for peace if you don't vibrate at peace? How can you ask for tolerance if you don't vibrate at tolerance? And we can all find evidence throughout time and space that would justify, factually justify, these feelings that we have, these wounds. We can always find a fact to back up why we are wounded. We can always find a finger to point out, right? We can be in victim consciousness, or we can say, enough is enough.
Mm,
This is our opportunity to say, enough is enough.
right.
But
Yeah.
you have to vibrate at what you're asking for. So this is an opportunity for those of us to say, who am I? Who do I want to be as a divine being? And what does that mean in my thoughts, my words, and my actions? And this world is a stage, it is theater for us to practice that. And conflict is can be or create an emergence of our authentic truth. It's an opportunity to awaken. We have an opportunity to wake up.
Yeah.
If it feels destructive, then it is destructive. And it means that you're not vibrating at the very thing that you're asking for. And your choices are coming from your pain. And anytime choice comes from pain, you're furthering your agreement, you're deepening that agreement and signing a new contract to be in the dissidence, to be in the suffering. And
Right. And so we're waking up from our shadows, right? This is the shadow work we talk about. And with this ascension process, I mean, every day spirits are coming through talking about how the veil is thinning, the vibration of the planet is rising, and we have this amazing opportunity to ascend. And as you and I talk about, ascend isn't necessarily up, it's out, it's expansive.
and it's knowing the code. So we're an energy code. Each one of us has an authentic energetic address. And when you vibrate at a certain frequency in these wavelengths, it will allow you this expansive opportunity to walk through these doors and, go back to your book of, what's your heaven. You have, as a creative being, there are lots of doorways that can open. Now, that doesn't mean that if you don't have a lot of doorways available to you in your life, that you're not vibrating at love. So, it's not an easy either or way of looking at one another and deciding who's a loving being and who's not, who's worthy, who is, who isn't. That's judgment. And judgment is not an ethereal frequency. Judgment is a shadow. It's a shadow wound that goes back to the beginning of time. And it is really at the core of this, you know, world order that we're finding ourselves in.
Yeah.
So busy looking at who's right and wrong, we're not taking a moment to use and to harness the energy of compassion and see through what's happening here and expand ourselves and align ourselves with compassion. When we do that, that's where the wellness can begin. That's where we find honor. That's where we find grace. And because of the way the earth is changing its vibration, we are being faced. There is no barrier between the light and there's no barrier between the shadow. And we cannot judge the shadow as good or bad. The shadow just is. It
Mhm.
just is. fear. It just is all of the frequencies that create suffering and pain are shadow frequencies. Jealousy, greed, competition, right, wrong, righteousness, right? Dominance, win, lose, either or. That's all a shadow frequency because it drains us. It's not the truth of who we are. As a divine being, we are love. So when we're in the frequencies of love, grace, tolerance, patience, right, we expand. It's our light that keeps us safe. A lot of times we fall into the shadow because we're afraid that we're going to be destroyed, but we're becoming the very thing that we're so afraid of. You
Yeah.
can't be the thing that you don't want. And so what we're meant to do is awaken and look at the shadow and go, I can feel that. I feel fear right now. I feel righteousness right now. What is this about? Divine spirit, what do I need to know so I can grow? Oh, I need to know that I'm safe. I need to know that I'm lovable. I need to know that it's okay to let go of this grudge because I don't need it to protect myself. I don't need it to stake claim to the truth of who I am. And so we're so busy judging the shadow that we don't know that it's every time we judge it, it's stealing more and more of our truth. And what the divine universe and when this awakening is happening is the opportunity for choice. Every single moment. That's what karma is. Karma is a growth opportunity, is a moment of choice. Am I going to fall into the shadow again? Am I going to walk through that door and become it? Or am I going to say no? And am I going to shift my energy, my intention, and my attention toward the light, toward love? Am I going to show up in peace because I want peace? I am. Am I going to be tolerant because I'm hoping that someone will be tolerant with me? It's kind of like saying, does the buck stop here with me?
Right.
That's forgiveness. No more. I will no longer be intolerant. I will no longer be judgmental. I will no longer be in compare and contrast. I will no longer use and search for evidence throughout time and space to justify my anger or my hatred because I'm afraid that I am not enough. And that's what this time is about. Stop it. Stop with the hate. Doesn't make it okay. Because I would say to people, and I laugh when I say this, I really truly subscribe to we live multiple existences in this earth school. And I would bet if you're full of hatred for some wrong that has happened, some injustice on this planet, and you are in a point of rage where you can't see straight, I would say to you, I would even bet a few dollars on it that at some point in your existence, you were the very perpetrator of that hate. And
Exactly.
now you're here freaking out because you got to clean up your energy.
Yeah.
Right?
That is a soul contract, right? You're
Yeah.
playing out the opposite side of the equation to counterbalance and heal.
Yes. So you can
Yeah.
awaken to, you know, to the frequency so you can know more about what that agreement really looks like.
Right. Yeah.
Not to be punished. Punishment is not part of forgiveness. Atonement has nothing to do with anything. Nobody can make anything right again. You can demand it all you want. That will never heal. That's why we're in this cycle. It's about getting present and saying, how can we show up now? How can we open doors? How can we see one another as beings,
Right.
not as men or women or, not as a gender, I should say, not as a race, not as a religion, but as a being. Are you a loving being? I could care less where you come from or what you look like. Are you a loving being?
Right.
That's the only question we should be asking one another. Do
I love
you care? Do you choose to show up? What is your intention? We don't ever ask one another that. What's your intention? My experience of that was it was really harmful to me. Was your intention to create harm?
Mm.
Get the answer. And if the answer is yes, then transmute it. Don't
Right.
become the victim. Say, all right, well, I'm not going to be the very thing that just happened to me. That is free will. My free will, my agency tells me that even if I'm in the darkest, deepest tunnel and someone intends harm, and that happens, people intend to harm. There is
Mhm.
pain on this planet that really wants to harm, but that doesn't mean that I must be destroyed by it. I can take anything that happens to me and transmute it into something that happens for me through the frequency of disagreeing, which is forgiveness, with that very pain
Yeah.
and finding the light and then trusting that the light will pull me through. And when I say light, I mean love, I mean divinity.
Right. Oh my God, I could go on 5 different tangents with all of that. That was beautiful and perfect. And, we're talking about it's basically there's a death and a rebirth happening, individually, collectively. And we have the power to choose. You can choose from the frequency of light or shadow. And, I talk a lot about that and what's your heaven. So recently, you and I had a session, and you said, "Oh my God, your heart chakra, it's like exploding." Right. And at the moment in the session, I wasn't feeling it. And it was a couple days later into today, I have been nonstop emotional crying, and I'm not a crier. Okay. But I am right now. I am, and I'm releasing and I'm allowing. And so I'm using the tools because, in session, it's always amazing to have you as the healer doing the work for me. But one of the things I love about our relationship is that you've really empowered me to be my own healer, you know? And I think it's great to work with someone external who can be objective. And I always say working with you, like what I do for myself, it take a year sometimes, you can do it in an hour, right? Because you know what you're doing, you're a pro. But you really do empower people to learn how to choose from the frequency of light and what tools to use. And so that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. The saying, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day, teach a
Yeah.
man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. Like that's what your work has done for me. And I know for so many clients who I've sent your way and they say the same thing. And so let's talk about how we can help people figure out how to become their own healers, how to trust in their own capability, right? So however you want to go
Yeah.
into that.
So you're talking about discernment, right? And just really helping people to replace the energy of judgment with the energy of discernment. And I was going to make a joke and say, well, everyone needs to come to Well Soul workshops, which is with my business partner, Katie, who's a trauma therapist. And we just spent a whole weekend, with a large group um, talking about this very thing, right? Being the agent of your own existence,
Mhm.
right? Replacing judgment with discernment, dialing in. We are harmonic beings of the light. We are, you can think of yourself as an instrument, and your soul, your physical body is the instrument, and your soul is the musician, right? Or the conductor. And so you want to realize that if you take the time to nurture tools and to feed your soul and to lean into your life from the soul's perspective and to know and practice that you are a loving being and that your worth comes from your divinity, from your light. That's the first step.
Mm.
Tools can be really anything that you want them to be, right? As far as attuning, aligning, and focusing on divine light. There are many different methods. My method is about the practice of grounding and running energy, the practice of attuning to the cosmic source energy and the physical creative earth energy and inviting it into all 4 layers of your being: mind, body, spirit, and emotions. And once you start with that foundation, you open yourself up to the oneness that lives within you. You're the one within the oneness. And when you begin to play with this energy and allow it to be a part of you, that integration happens. You start to build an ability to find yourself when you're dysregulated, to find a way to re-regulate your nervous system, to go back into coherence, and to create space so that you can be still before you respond to whatever relational experiencing you're having in this time and space. And that's where the tools come in, right? If you can learn tools that suit you, again, I keep saying that because it doesn't have to be my tools, right? I
Right.
share tools. And the greatest compliment anyone can pay me, you just paid me. My job is to help people find tools that work best for them
Mhm.
so that they can learn to trust themselves and be in their own certainty and say, wait a minute, I'm in this situation right now. This isn't who I am. This isn't who I want to be. How do I get myself out of this? Oh, I'm going to ground and run my energy. Or, oh, I'm going to say my name 3 times. That's one of my other tools. Say your name 3 times. It calls your energy back. Your name is a harmonic attuned to your soul. So think about it. When somebody calls your name, it gets your attention. When you say your name, you get your own attention. You wake
Right.
yourself up. You come back to here. When you're here in the moment, you can be clear and you can then say, okay, what do I need to do right now so that I can honor the truth of who I want to be? Discernment. Do I want to be in this fear frequency that I'm in right now? I'm mad right now. Do I want to think, speak, or act from anger? Is that true to who I am? No. It's not a judgment, it's a discernment. I'm not judging myself. Oh, I can't believe I'm angry again. Gosh, what's my problem? Can't I control my anger? Yada yada yada. You're going down the drain of fear frequency when you do that. You're in judgment now. You're in shame. You're in blame, and that is not going to solve anything. And it pulls you out of what we call neutrality. Neutrality is trust. When I'm neutral, the reason that I can do something in an hour for someone else is because I'm super neutral. I'm in trust. I'm not the one in pain in the moment.
Right.
I have this pain inside me throwing me out of my body. I'm in neutrality and I'm trusting that when I'm in alignment with divinity, when I'm in alignment with love, I am safe and I am capable. And then I can start to access all of these other behavioral tools that help me align and attune to find my way out of the dark hole.
Yes. Yes.
And the key.
That is the key. One of my recent creations and offerings is a meditation. I have a free one on my website, but I also have a morning and evening paid version of calling back your energy. And it's inspired by the work that we've done together because when I get fragmented, which you know me, I love to leave my body. I feel safer in
Out there.
the ethereal realms. That's home to me. But I'm here. I need to be here. And it's a gift to be here, to be present. But that has been one of the greatest tools. And then discovering that I have to say just Rebecca, right? I was saying I have all these different names. I have a maiden name, I have a few names. But just saying Rebecca shifted everything because that truly is the essence of my soul, of me.
Yes. And the tone of your voice when you say Rebecca is the vibration that your energy is set at. And so electromagnetically, it comes home. We are electromagnet beings, we're magnets, and
Yeah.
we're attuned to frequencies that are unique. So when I say my name, the tone of my voice that is a calling, it's a vibration. And so my energy can't help but come back because it's the magnet. I'm putting it out there. I'm amplifying it. The more attention we give something, the more amplitude it has, the more force it has, the more capable it is of drawing in what I'm asking for. So many people, the saying, what you focus on, you create. But I would take that a step further. What you focus on, you create within you, where you vibrate is what you create. Because if you just focus on it and you only can sustain that focus for so long, that means you may get what you're asking for, you may find your way, but how long can you hold it? When you practice being it through discernment, checking in with yourself, what frequency am I in right now? Am I in a frequency of love? Do I really want to say this to this person right now? Do I need to? Yes, you need to. All right, then. How can I do it in a way that's going to come from a truth, a loving place? Not your opinion, not a factual place, because you can tell the fact and you can still be spewing a lie because you're doing it from a place of fear. And that creates self harm. When we show up in ways that aren't in alignment with love, we are betraying the very core of who we are. And when we practice discernment and we check in and we say, all right, divine spirit, I really need to tell this person I'm upset with them. But I know that I want to come from honor, not from anger, and not from a destructive place. I don't want to come from righteousness. I don't want to come from judgment. I don't want to tell them that they wronged me. I don't want to be in victim consciousness. I actually want to understand and clear this in a way that's aligned with my highest and best good.
Wow.
If we can stop before we act and just ask that simple question, am I about to think, speak, or act out of love or out of a fear? Take that moment. But what's hard is oftentimes when we are in a pain, we're so lit up, we do leave our body, and then the pain just starts to react to the situation. And that's what I say, that's when the shadow runs the show. What part of you is answering this person right now? What part of you is showing up right now? And don't judge that part of you. Know that that part is coming forward to be seen, revealed, so you can heal it.
Yes, it's a gift.
Mhm.
Yeah. And you've taught me, I talked about it in What's Your Heaven, running colors. I might change it, run it, tap it to run energy, run color frequencies, and then integrate it into your being to heal. And then the other is the sound healing with your app, My Soul Vibe,
Yeah.
which I use daily. Like it's the best little tune up, especially when I'm in a hurry. So if that resonates, I recommend people check it out.
Yeah, because again, it goes back to, every part of us, mind, body, spirit, emotions, is set at a vibration. Our cells oscillate at a certain vibration that's organized, right, as your physical body. And each so when you listen to sound, when you receive a sound healing, your being can't help but reorganize itself to whatever tones are coming forward. And so what we've done with the app, with My Soul Vibe, and stay tuned because something even more interesting is coming forward with the world of sound and personalized meditations, because we can tell a lot about where we are as a being and where we're vibrating from our voice. And
Mm,
so when listen to people when they talk to you, listen to the tone in their voice, listen to how they sound. It will tell you more about where they are, what they're feeling, right? Think about that.
yeah.
And take the moment and tune in. Empathy is a great tuning fork. But what happens oftentimes, we over empathize. We go too far into it. What we want is empathy is a great gateway for compassion. Empathy says, I feel what you feel, and I've got to know how you feel. It's only, I can't help you unless I know it. That's not true. Empathy is great for just going, ooh, I can sense that you're really hurting right now. I can see that you're in pain. Compassion says, I see that you're in pain, but I know if I become your pain, I cannot be of service. I will lose my neutrality.
Mm,
Think of it like someone is in quicksand, and if you over empathize, you go and get in the quicksand with them.
yes. Yes. And so,
And now, what do you do?
exactly. Well, so is this compassionate detachment? Is in essence?
I'm not really familiar with that. I mean, for me, it's not detachment, it's compassion. I would say it's more of utilizing compassion to be of service, but to be of service of someone's soul and what they're here to learn and to know. Because we
Right.
don't know the whole story. And it goes back to affording somebody the dignity of their own process,
Right.
right? And saying to them, and also not indulging pain, right? Because the last thing we want to do is feed the pain. We want to find the light. So we want to, when somebody's in pain, we want to say, I see that you're really in pain. How may I be of help? Would you like me to listen? Would you like me? Is there something I can do for you? Right?
Mm.
Is there something that, is there something that I can offer you that's going to resonate with you? And if it's in alignment with who I am, then I'm going to do it, right? But if
Right.
it's not, then I'm going to say, well, I'm sorry, I can't show up that way for you. But however, would this help you, right? We can always offer that. Or we may want to use compassion to set a boundary. We may want to say, in the case of somebody like raging at us or being angry, we can tell that they're angry, right? And they're using hurtful language. We can say, I really see that you're angry right now. I really understand that you perceive that I've done harm to you. However, you may not speak to me like that. You may not come to me in that
Mhm.
rage. I will not go there with you. Now I'm in compassion. I used empathy. I can empathize that they're upset, that they're angry. I can almost see I'm willing to be accountable for my actions, but I am not going to feed their beast of rage.
Right. It's healthy boundaries.
But through compassion, not
Hmm.
through fear, not through anger, not through judgment, who's
Right.
right, who's wrong, not through compare contrast, not through victim consciousness, where I'm making a long laundry list of all the reasons why I've got to be angry at you and all the things that I perceive that have been done to me, right? That's where we're missing the point. We
Mm.
think that the judgments keep us safe. We think that if we're in empathy, it gives us the right to help someone, the right to be of service. If you don't know my pain, then you should stay out of it. There's a lot of that going on the planet, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
A lot of that happening around the word privilege.
Mm.
If you're perceived to be privileged, you don't get to suffer. You don't get to have a say. You don't know how I feel. You're not me. No, I'm not. You're right about that. That is accurate. And you're not me. I have my own journey and you don't know the whole story, and you have your journey and I don't know the whole story. But I can be compassionate and say to you, I see that you're suffering. How may I be of service?
I love that. Yeah, spirit has taught me, our we want to get our ego out of the equation. And so we pray for the highest truth, highest healing, and highest good of all,
Mhm.
whatever that is, right?
And we don't
Because
know.
we don't, we don't. Sometimes we think we know, but give it to
Yeah.
God.
I give it to God. And you know what? I give it to the God that is within me and all around me, because
Mm.
I don't know the whole story of what is in the divine matrix and what your soul came here to do.
Yeah.
And I'm still evolving to know what my soul came here to do, right? Because there is that veil that blocks us from knowing the whole story. That's the mystery of it all.
Yeah.
And but if I don't have to know, if I use discernment and check in with myself and ask the simple question, am I showing up in love, and am I honoring the love of the truth of who I am? For me, I really want to be graceful. I want to be peaceful. I want to be patient. You know, I don't want to give in to the shadow that comes in my pain, the trauma of the past that has informed so many occasions in my life, because I didn't have agency, because I was in judgment, because I was in, fear. And I gave into it. I indulged it. I fed it. And I don't want to do that anymore. I'm making a conscious choice. And now I'm practicing Does that mean I always show up that way? Oh gosh, no. I mean, ask my kids, they'll tell you. But I practice, and every day is a
Yeah.
new day to practice. And I am accountable for when I miss, when I buy into the lie that I am not enough, and go into I'm right and you're wrong. I I am accountable. I go back and say to myself, I'm not going to do that anymore. And the minute I disagree, I'm in forgiveness. And if I need to go do a repair, I'm going to go do a repair. And if the person responds to my repair, that's not the point.
Right. Now, it takes a lot of courage. It's a sign of an old soul to be able to own, your stuff and take accountability. Because if we don't do it here, we will definitely be doing it when we cross over to the other side. And it's always easier to learn the lesson, to heal and balance that karma here in body where it was originally created, right? Than in the
Yeah.
afterlife.
It's always, this is coming to me to say, it's always easy to point to an external person, thing that's caused us pain. You hurt me. You did this to me, right? Then look inside and say, what I'm feeling is within me. That experience with that person or with this event only showed me the pain that's within me.
Right? They're mirrors for us.
And we're so stuck in shame and blame right now that and righteousness, that it's creating destruction beyond what's necessary to awaken. It's actually feeding a beast on this planet of hatred that is really getting big and fat, and loving, that we're not stopping and saying, wait a minute, wait,
Right.
I'm the very thing that I'm fighting against.
Mm,
I've become that. And that's what shadow will do. It will
wow.
get so big, become bigger than you, and it wants to stay. So whenever you're in righteousness, take notice. That's an indication that there's a beast around. Whenever you're in judgment, when you use the word good, bad, right, wrong, you're telling, that's telling. Listen to the language that you use.
Mm,
It's going to tell you the vibration that's either trying to speak through you and it just slipped out, because it did. And call your energy back and say, whoa, wait a minute. I need to recalibrate. I need to attune back to, who do I want to be? Oh, I want to be compassionate. I want to be graceful. I want to be patient. I want to be in regard. So I'm going to not use that language anymore. When it comes in, I'm going to stop myself. I mean, it happens to me all the time,
yeah. I mean, we're human. And you
right?
go on, especially when you're tired and you just go on autopilot, right? But no, it's part of the 3D shift from 3D to 5D consciousness,
Yes.
right? Moving from duality and polarity and judgment, right, wrong, good, bad, to the oneness and unity consciousness.
And the reconciliation of the light and shadow into pure forms of light. We have to into the rebirth of who we
Mhm.
are, and we have a death and rebirth constantly. And forgiveness is the freedom in order to align and to be in harmony. Forgiveness, again, is not something we give others. It's nothing that we give at all. It just is, it's a disagreement with suffering and shadow, and an agreement to step into your light. In that moment, you are free from that. And in that moment, all is well. And
Mm,
when you trust that, then you can be in what I call neutrality. Again, neutrality is not complacency. It doesn't mean you don't care. It means you trust that you're capable, no matter what, of choosing to be in the light, and that the light, love, God, the universal forces of the frequency of divinity And that's an important point. You don't want to just say the universe. There's a lot of characters in the universe, and they don't all vibrate at love. And we are citizens of the universe. We are not just citizens of this planet, we are citizens of the universe. And we are evolutionary beings. And so when we calibrate our energy to divinity, that is forgiveness. And that's what frees us.
I love that. Yeah. Well, I just want to touch on one more point, and that is a lot of clients are asking me about protection. And I recently heard this great quote: the best protection from the things you're afraid of is a higher vibration.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
so I would just ask you, like, what's the one prayer, affirmation, or mantra? What's your go-to that you can offer listeners to help raise their vibration and in turn protect their energy?
So, one thing I would say, and I'm going to be a stickler here a little bit because I do it myself, I wouldn't say that it's a higher vibration, because what that says is that I believe in the hierarchy of vibration. And
Mm.
it's just either or, light or shadow, right? It's
My
and
ear just started ringing, by the way. So that is definitely spirit.
telling you, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Listen to Jakki.
yeah. So we want to say, how do I calibrate my energy and attune and align to the divine forces?
Love it.
And when I'm attuned to the divine, I am safe. So, one thing I say is a prayer: please, divine spirit, guide me, protect me, and direct me. Fill me with light and love. Show me the way with messages I will understand, so my every thought, word, and action is a reflection of my divinity and only my divinity. And then I
Amen.
thank you, thank you, amen. The other thing I say is that I'll walk around if I feel uneasy. I sense, remember, our feelings are frequencies. It's a message to tell us what's present, what state of being is trying to materialize or is materializing in the moment. That's what our emotions are. It's a materialization of a state of being and energy frequency. And if I feel dis-ease, that means that there's a shadow knocking on my door, or from within me being lit up, meaning something's coming toward me that's igniting in me where I'm shadow. Remember, electromagnetic, there's a fear somewhere. Okay, what is this? What is this? And if I can't figure it out, it's not that I want to know why. I'm not going to ask, why is this? Because that's what the shadow wants. I'm going to say, what is this? So I always stop and say, divine spirit, what is this? What am
Mm.
I to know about this? And if I don't get an answer right away, I don't worry about it. But what I do say is, only divine energy may be in my presence. Only divine energy may be in communication. I am in agreement with the divine and only the divine. That's my other prayer to keep myself safe. The brighter you are, the more you are in your light, the safer you are. Your light protects you.
Hmm.
Again, we are electromagnetic. Does that mean that when you are protected that something isn't going to happen? Something may happen. It may happen because it's what needs to happen so you can see the miracle that's within you. We don't know the whole truth. So what we may think is safe and protected may not be exactly what our soul needs. But when we're safe and protected, what we're saying is, whatever comes my way, it's going to be for my growth and evolution. Whatever comes my way, may it be for my growth and evolution as a divine being.
Mm.
And
Powerful.
so, but from interference, those forces that intend harm, if you can hold, remember, we're in a process of learning to sustain the vibration of light for as long as we possibly can. Enlightenment means I am in a, I have, I have practiced and I am calibrating my energy field wholly and totally in the light. Every atom and all four layers of my being are harmonized in frequencies of love. I can hold on to that for 5 minutes. Oh, that's pretty good. I practice. Now I can do 10. Now I can do 20. Now I can do a week. Now I can do whatever. What we're wanting is to be able to be in the light at all times. That is the being a master of light and becoming an enlightened being. It's about building the resiliency. And that goes back to the energy hygiene. Just like you want to run a marathon, you're not going to go run 26 miles. You're going to walk a mile. Then you're going to maybe walk, 2 miles. And then you're going to run a mile and walk a mile. And you're going to keep practicing and keep practicing and keep practicing. It is not like you get to an end.
Right.
It's that you
It's a
hold,
practice.
yeah, but you hold a capability.
Mm.
And so if you want to be safe, then commune with the energy of light, divinity.
Well, lately, my guides keep reminding me for protection, rather than protect, project light. Isn't that great?
That's awesome.
I know. And so
Awesome.
it's just
Love that.
be light, project light, and that will counteract anything less than light.
Okay. Don't you love how your divine guides rhyme all the time?
All the time. In fact, I know it's not me when I start rhyming.
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's how my whole journey began, with automatic writing, and it was poetic, sing-songy, rhyming, downloads. It's definitely divine.
it's so beautiful.
I love it.
Yeah, I love that.
Wow. Well, I just want to thank you for your time, your wisdom, your grace, like all of this. Even just talking to you about it, it raises my vibration, which in turn, but there's no need to protect when you're vibing high.
No, and that is activism, shift your vibration, shift into love, and let it, like Rebecca said, project. Because when you put it out there, then just like I said, we're electromagnetic, it goes places. And it goes into other people's energy fields and brings out the light that's within them. That's why when we try to get something done from force, power, dominance, righteousness, it'll get done, but it will destroy, and it will just create more. That's why we're in the same cycle over and over and
Mhm.
over again. We just keep perpetuating it. And so, but when you project the light, it goes in, you can actually be seen and heard because you're touching that light and love within somebody else, which is truth. And now it allows everyone to meet in that wavelength. And that's the beautiful thing.
Wow. I love it. So at the end of the day, it's about getting into our hearts and projecting light and love from our hearts out, right? And attuning to that vibration.
Yes. And it doesn't, you don't have to believe in anything specific. It's all your relationship to divine forces is yours and only yours. No one should come in between you, tell you how to call it, what to call it. It's love. I mean, it is that sense within you in
Mm.
which there is joy and peace and grace and all of those things. And that's how you know you're in divinity. That's how you know. And it doesn't matter what name we give that.
Yeah.
And we have
But
to
that is
have to
good.
stop thinking that we have to call it the same thing.
Right. Well, that is living your heaven on earth.
Mhm.
That's what's your heaven. So I love that. Well, tell people how they can find more of you, the Well Soul offerings, these amazing workshops, and everything else.
Oh, thank you. So I have a website. And I'm sure Rebecca will put it up in her,
Yeah, we'll link it.
but it's JakkiLeonardini.com. And so if you want to book a session with me, I offer sessions there. I have Well Soul workshops, and we have a website, wellsoulworkshops.com, and we do these retreats 3 times a year. We may be doing more, and they're really amazing. We have a community and of some really beautiful people who are on the journey, and we practice together. And then I have a podcast called Funny Energy with my friend Brad Wallach, who's a comedian, and I have a lot of fun. I have to get Rebecca on our podcast when we start
Yeah, I love it.
more episodes shortly. and we interview comedians and people that are in the field of, entertainment or healing. And humor is so important. So that's a lot of fun. We have a lot of laughs. Humor is light. And then what else do I have going on? And then my
Yeah,
soul.
right. The app.
Yeah, yeah. Which
Very
is
exciting.
which is coming soon with an update and a new name and lots more music. The My Soul Vibe was kind of like putting it out there to see, what the response was and how it works, and it's been terrific. And now I've done a lot of learning, and it's time to offer more sound acoustical healings that we, you know, because I really believe that we are harmonic, and the more music, the more harmony we bring into our being, the more healing can happen.
Yeah, I'm all about sound healing right now. So I can't
Oh, you
wait.
got some great sound
Yes.
bowls,
Oh,
right?
I have a couple generous clients who have been through my clients, my angels have insisted I use these crystal sound healing bowls, and they are transforming my body, my energy field, everything.
Yeah.
So that's another episode we can do another time. But sound healing and your app have really been instrumental in helping me to ground, connect, protect all of it. So
All of it, because you can't help but respond. It's like the more you do it, it will quiet the mind, the mental body, who, that's trying to put it in logic or reason, because your cells can't help but respond. Your energy can't help but respond because it's a magnet. And so you kind of bypass all the resistance through sound healing, which is
yeah,
great.
amazing. I love it. Okay, well, we need to do another to be continued. This is so
Uh,
fun. I could talk to you forever.
I
Thank
know.
you. Thank you.
It's so
Okay.
good to see you, Rebecca.
You-
Thank you for all the beautiful work you do, and
Thank you.
we're blessed to have
To
an
have
opportunity
each other.
to hear your voice. Yeah.
Likewise. Thank you. Be well. Thanks for joining me for this episode of Small Medium at Large. For more information about my offerings and events, and for additional resources on your spiritual journey, please visit my website, RebeccaRosen.com. You can also follow me on social media by searching at Medium Rebecca Rosen on Facebook and Instagram. As always, I am wishing you brightest blessings and all love.